Alright boys, and welcome back to another vanilla base design. This base is aimed at a solo, however you could definitely move around easily as a duo. This base features unlootable loot rooms, roof bunkers, and awesome defenses. It boasts a pretty cheap cost, plus it comes in very easy build stages. And this base is so strong, so defendable, and so cheap that Howl.gg decided to sponsor it. Here we have a standard airlock that starts on the second floor. Use this section for less valuable items and quick depot. The garage doors on the turret pods can be opened and closed from inside the base, and the core is accessed by a ladder hatch, and it houses plenty of boxes, 2 of which are unlootable. The TC is also unlootable, and there's space for a bed. The shooting floor has a great mixture of peaks. And there's plenty of doors around, so you can focus one area from inside the shooting floor. The roof has a drone-only shop and 2 turrets to cover. On top there's also peek downs and more places to shoot from. Above there's a windmill to power the turrets, and it connects to a battery inside one of the bunkers. Design the bunkers how you like and store more valuable loot in here and in the unlootables. That concludes the tour. Hopefully from here you boys want to know how to build the base. Very quickly I want to show you boys the full build cost. This includes every single deployable, the compound, everything you saw in the tour. Second up, this is what it is in box amounts, so this is how many boxes of each material you're going to need to build the base. And finally, this is the total upkeep. This is how many mats you're going to need per 24 hours to keep your base alive. Keep in mind that there are 3 TCs, however the outer 2 don't require much. On screen is the entire footprint for the base, so this is how much room you'll need to build it. Take a screenshot of that if you need, and I quickly want to remind you guys to subscribe and like the video if you can, and let's jump into the build. For starters, we're going to place down a 2x1 footprint. Then we're going to place a triangle for our airlock and a triangle for our TC. Add walls around the TC triangle. And make sure you place your TC so you can upgrade the foundation and the ceiling above. Then you can add in a lock, a ceiling, and a window. The airlock is going to have a wooden door and a wooden ceiling. And the 2 walls on the sides are also going to be wooden. Then you can fill all the other walls in and add in some frames. Put a ceiling on top, and then you can place in all of your deployables. You can live out of this starter until you're ready to start building main. Once you're ready to continue, we can come outside and cover up the wood. Start by placing a square and a raised foundation. Then you can add in full walls on the sides and a half wall on the end. Seal it off with a ceiling. And then build that on the opposite side. You can place a triangle beside your airlock and another triangle beside your TC. Then come on top of your base, and we're going to create the entrance. And you can use those triangles you just placed to add honeycomb. You can place your main door on the opposite end of TC. The squares at the front and back are going to be loot rooms. You can add walls on top of your TC and a half wall to honeycomb. You can also add walls on the final triangle and then a ceiling on top of the base. And then on top of your open triangle we're going to place a wall and 2 frames. Now that we've built our main entrance, we can go ahead and soft set out our temporary entrance and fill it up with a wall. Then you can place a triangle to stand on, and then you can either use twig to build up or a ladder. You can design the second floor however you like, or you can copy what I do. Design the second floor however you like, just make sure you don't add in the window frames just yet. Now that we've moved our entrance, you can soft set out this triangle and replace it with a ladder hatch. Next, inside the core, we're going to break all of our deployables and redesign it. Once you've opened up the core, you can break both of the wooden walls. I'm going to show you guys how to build a loot room inside one of them and then just copy it on the opposite side. Start with a window frame, then grab your vending machines and we're going to place them as close as you can to the window. You're going to leave a small gap in between for a box to be accessed. Then place your box up against the vending machines with the lock facing out towards the window. Then you can place a lock on the box. Then you can put all your stuff inside the box and F1 kill. And once you spawn back inside your core, you should be able to face the window and place a roof triangle behind the box. This roof triangle can be upgraded through the ceiling. And then that's one loot room made, just replicate that on the opposite side. This is meant to be a solo base, however the code lock can be accessed at any time. Hopefully by this point you've got enough metal and high qual to start upgrading. Inside the core we're going to pick up our window, and you can upgrade everything near the TC to armored. The window frame can be metal, along with the remaining foundations. Upgrade the walls of the chute to armored, and the other two walls. Finally, you can do the floors. Make your window frames metal, and from outside the base you can upgrade everything else. Make sure you upgrade the floors above your vending machines. Don't forget to do the honeycombing outside. And then you can upgrade everything else along the second floor. Next up, we're going to be building the bunkers. The bunkers are going to go here and here. We need to place our deployables before we can finish the bunker, so start by placing a half shelf inside. Then underneath you can place in a couple of furnaces. You can fit 3, but you'll only be able to access 2 of them. Then on the shelf you should be able to fit in a barbecue and 2 small boxes. Then you can place a triangle on the right or left and bring a square in front. From this square we're going to build out with 7 more squares. On the final square we're going to place a triangle, and then we can break everything in twig apart from this triangle. Once the squares are broken we're going to build back with 4 triangle half moons. After the final half moon we can place a square. Upgrade your square to metal and break all the triangles behind. Then you can place a wall in front, but we're going to upgrade this wall to stone, rotate it, and then from above we're going to place in a frame. Make sure your frame is connecting to the triangle and not the wall. Then you can upgrade your frame to metal, your triangle, and your wall. Then finish it off with a stone roof. You can use this roof to get up to your airlock, and it also hides the fact that there's a bunker underneath. Currently this square is going to be decaying, so we need to connect it to an external TC. You guys can use any TC you want, or you can use the one I linked in the description. Once you've built an external TC of your choice, you can replicate all these steps on the opposite side. I like to place a large battery inside one of the bunkers, so you can do that on this one. And once you've done that, your base should be looking like this. Next we're going to be adding some honeycombing to the base to cover up the armored. Start by placing triangles on the sides, all the way along. You can add walls on top of your triangles, and on this side we're going to add door frames and a roof to separate our compound. The first set of honeycombing is going to turn into turret pods. And then you can add roofs on top of those. And once you're ready, place a turret inside each pod with the garage doors facing in the way. You can open the turret pods from inside the base, and for just now you can power your turrets using solar panels or something else. In order to start using our bunkers we need a compound so that we're safe. Start by placing a door inside your gatehouse, and then a wooden wall on the left and right. You can angle your wall slightly in the way. Just like that, and then you can do that to the opposite side. Then you can place a wall inside the foundations. Try and make sure it's as straight as possible. And then you can just connect all of the walls. And once you've finished, you can use the dips in the compound to place in large furnaces. Finally, add in barricades wherever you need them. And then we can start building the shooting floor. On top of your base, we're going to start by placing 2 triangles. Then we can place triangle frames all the way around the gaps. Then from your floor frame, we can place a frame on top. And then you can place metal squares on top of those. Make sure to upgrade anything that can be soft-sided. And then you can start placing in some window frames beside your drop downs. And then door frames beside your triangle frames. Then in front, a half wall, a window, and a low wall underneath. And then you can wrap this square in windows. Then you can place a frame and a raised ramp. Make sure you place your frame before the ramp. Once you've built that, you can just place window frames in between. On the opposite side of your jump up, you can add in a wall and 2 half triangles. and we'll use this to get on the roof. Then just place frames in between. Then you can add in a row of squares on the roof, and all your triangles. Make sure you leave out the jump up. However, you can leave out the floors on the squares. On top of those, we're going to add a row of half walls, but then place a low wall facing in towards the roof. Then you can add a floor on top, and these are going to be our roof peak ups. Then you can build your airlock for the top door, and a vending machine that can be accessed by drones. Then you can add in triangle frames around the roof again. Then you can go around the shooting floor and place in all the doors and embrasures. You can also place a low ramp in this side, however you might need to break the deployables underneath. Then once you've replaced your deployables and upgraded your roof, you can add a window frame in front. Then you can shut the doors in your peak downs, pick up a couple embrasures, and then from above you can place in your triangle roofs. Place in siren lights if you want, and then replicate this on the opposite end. Then from on top of your roof you can place in some roof ramps, place squares next to your peak ups, and on this side, then triangle roofs in between. In the middle you can build up 2 frames, and place 2 triangles on top, and you can place your windmill on top. Then I like to place a couple of low walls around the roof. And you can place in 2 turrets on the back and front. And once you've done that, that completes the base design. Design the interior however you like, or you can copy what I did in the tour. If you boys had any issues with this base, or if you've got any questions, ask them in the comments down below, or you can join my Discord. If you guys did enjoy this video, then please feel free to drop a like and subscribe, it would mean a ton. I really hope to see this base out there in some servers, and I'll see you boys next time.